Khalid and Sharjeel Imam's bail was rejected even after 5 years of imprisonment in jail without a trial. No conviction, no proper trial, just time, endless time fleeing behind the iron bars. And recently, when their bail pleas reached the Supreme Court, the answer came as very simple as devastating no. But who are these Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam? What they have done to the country to be in prison without any trial? Why their single bail is even struggling? Let's get all the answers. Welcome to Youturn, and this is Nandini Madheshwaran. To understand this, we must go back to 2019. In 2019, an act was passed called CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. So according to this act, the religious minorities like Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Parsis, Jains and Christians from the neighboring countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan who comes to India will get citizenship. But Muslims were not in that list and Muslims were accepted. And this is the main reason for the Delhi riots that happened in 2020. So those people were considered as refugees and not illegal migrants, and the required residency period was reduced for them to 11 years to 5 years. So according to that act, the people from or the migrants who came from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan who came to India and lived more than 5 years, they will get the Indian citizenship. But this is not included for Muslims. And the act also excludes 85,000 Sri Lankan Tamil refugees who lived in India since 1980s. And this also excludes the refugees from Tibet, Nepal and Bhutan. In a democratic country like India, it was the first time that religion became a criterion for citizenship. Many people argued that this act violates Article 14, that is right to equality, and it is against India's secular constitution. And the biggest concern was CAA and NRC, that is National Register of Citizens. So this NRC was implemented just to identify who are Indians and who are not Indians by providing the required documents. To be simple, the NRC asks every Indian citizens, whether it is Hindus or Muslims or Christians, to submit the required documents if they are actually Indians. Though this act was not implemented throughout the entire country, it was implemented only in Assam. But why Assam? Because Assam has a long history of protesting against illegal migrants, and many of the people entered to Assam from the neighboring countries. So that the government fixed a cut-off date of 24 March of 1971. According to that date, considering this, the people who entered after this 1971 will be considered as illegal migrant. So they had to somehow show the proof that they are living in India for so long time, like their old ID cards or birth certificate, school certificate or land documents or whatever the proof may be, that they are surviving or they are living in India for so long period. So if they fail to show a document, they will no longer have a place to stay in India. As a result, in Assam alone, 19 lakh people were excluded. Yes, not just 1 or 2, 19 lakh people. So if this was done all over the country, what would happen? Thousands and lakhs of people would be excluded. Because of this reason, the NRC became so controversial. Poor daily wage workers, Dalits, tribes and the elder people who were born before records would definitely be affected, because obviously they don't have any proper documents, and most of the affectants was Muslims. Following this, many people started protesting and the protest became so strong in Delhi. Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam were part of that wave. They protested not with high weapons or with the mob attacks. They protested with their powerful speeches, meetings and dissent and the kind of democracies that are supposed to protect us. Then came February 2020. Delhi faced one of the worst communal riots in decades, especially in the northeast Delhi. In Shaheen Bagh, people, especially the Muslim women, were protesting in a very peaceful manner, sitting against the CAA. For over 4 months, there were no protests, no rally or no riots happening there. But since then, the BJP MP's speech on the campaign rally showed that the BJP groups were already preparing the people for the protest. Just look at the video. He is Anurag Thakur from BJP asking people what we can do to our traitors, and the crowd was simply shouting, "Shoot them!" And Kapil Mishra of BJP openly gave a statement that it is going to be India versus Pakistan on February 8 and mini Pakistans have already created in Delhi. But these statements would not be considered as a triggering point of the communal riots to the government, isn't it? And all these backlashes turned to be the major riot of Delhi, particularly by the hatred speech of Kapil Mishra on 23rd February of 2020. He gave a speech near Majpur telling the police to clear the anti-CAA protesters or else his supporters would do themselves. This triggered the peaceful protesters and they were burned, stone pelting, mob attacks, targeted attacks on mosques, vehicle, homes, and 53 people nearly killed in the riot. And most of them were Muslims. The police said that this was not a riot but larger conspiracy. A conspiracy that is allegedly made with WhatsApp messages, hatred speeches and public meetings. And suddenly the face of conspiracy was not the terrorists from other country or the men with wild guns, but student activists. Yes, Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam was a student activist who had a long history of fighting against unfair government and they were arrested during the Delhi riots. Along with those two, 9 of them were arrested. And here's where the story becomes uncomfortable. Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam was not arrested in a normal case. They were charged with some of the cruel Indian acts like sedition, UAPA, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, and IPC sections including rioting, criminal conspiracy and speeches. But they were just a student activist who voiced out the unfair government. And a part of Umar Khalid's speech video was widely circulated where he said that when Donald Trump comes to India, we the people must block the roads and tell him the government is trying to divide the country. And some of the cuts widely circulated which made him that he was the main reason for the Delhi violence. But he also spoke about peaceful protest and Gandhian principles which was not even reached as much as the previous video.
हिंसा का जवाब हिंसा से नहीं देंगे, हम नफरत का जवाब नफरत से नहीं देंगे। अगर वो नफरतें फैलाएंगे तो हम उसका जवाब प्यार से देंगे। अगर वो डंडा चलाएंगे तो हम तिरंगा उठाकर लहराएंगे। अगर वो गोली चलाएंगे तो हम संविधान को हाथ में लेकर अपने हाथ को बुलंद करेंगे। अगर वो जेल में डालेंगे तो सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा गाते गाते हम हंसते हंसते जेल चले जाएंगे, लेकिन इस देश को आपको बर्बाद करने नहीं देंगे।
Multiple independent inquiries, including the reports from the Delhi Minorities Commission, also said that the inflammatory speeches by the ruling party leaders created the atmosphere which led to the communal tension. These reports named leaders, quoted speeches and identified patterns, but any of those names were not at all appeared in the police charge sheets. Instead, the focus was shifted elsewhere. Umar Khalid's speeches were dissected line by line. The prosecutors said that his speeches was full of hidden meaning, coded words and secret instructions. And Khalid and Imam were booked under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is one of the harsh laws. Once it is applied, even the bail becomes impossible. Under this act, the person must be or the person can serve in jail when the court believes that this person actually commits the crime. It is possible even without testing them for full trial. And so many years passed, almost 5 years. Even International Human Rights Organization began to ask uncomfortable questions like, why are these men inside without a proper trial? If these men are proven innocent, why are still they in prison? And while this was happening on one side, something else stood sharply on the other side. Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, a political and religious leader who was convicted on 2017 for raping 2 of his female disciples and murdering a journalist, was given 15th time parole on the same day where Khalid and Sharjeel's bail was rejected. And that contrast forces a painful question: whose freedom really matters in this country? Cases involving the protesters and dissenters move very slowly and painfully, keeping them in jail for over years without proper trial. But on the other side, when the people are more powerful and very close to the government or supporters, they come out or their cases moved very quickly and differently. And there is another disturbing reality too. Justice S. Muralidharan was the judge of the Delhi High Court, who is known for his bold orders and strong protection of citizen rights. In 2020 Delhi riots hearing, he criticized the police and authorities' inaction. He also ordered the police to file FIRs of those people or those leaders who gave the inflammatory speeches that are linked to the Delhi riots. And these orders were seen as firm and direct in holding the authorities to account. But later the same evening, Justice Muralidharan was transferred from Delhi High Court to Punjab and Haryana High Court. The government said that the transfer was routine, but the timing of the transfer was very obvious that this transfer was not at all a routine thing. It acted as a clear shield for BJP members from arrest. And one thing becomes very clear here. People who genuinely protest and the judge who is honest to his constitution, the government pushes them very bad, but it acts so gentle when it comes to its own supporters. So Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam are not asking to declare them as innocent and release them. They are just asking for a bail, a basic legal principle for the person that is innocent until proven guilty. They are just asking not to be punished before verdict. When their bail was rejected, the court simply said that prima facie, not proven, not a trial, just considered enough to be in jail. And this is the real fear in the story. Because if simple speeches are turned to be the controversies, and if dissents are labelled as terrorisms, and if years of person's life can be taken away in prison without any trial, this is no longer about Umar Khalid or Sharjeel Imam. It is about the kind of country we are becoming. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.